In today's explosive double episode, two auditors stand firm, expose police overreach, and walk away with major legal victories. First, Auditor Matt is unlawfully detained and physically handled by a female officer, his only crime being that he filmed outside a police station and refused to hand over his details. Then, Mr. Auditor calmly leaves an open police car park when asked only for a hot-headed officer, driven more by ego than law, to turn a harmless moment into a wrongful arrest. The outcome? Both forces dragged into court, both auditors compensated, and both cases serving as a sharp reminder that knowing your rights still matters.
Am I recording? Yes, I am recording on my camera.
Why didn't you tell me?
Okay.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because I've only just started recording.
You put it on in the car, didn't you?
Okay, I've only just started recording.
Right, well, you need to tell.
We're going to detain you for the purpose of a search. Okay.
You never told me. You never told me.
It is my business.
No, it's
You're
not.
on police premises,
Trust me, it's
taking
none of your
photographs
business.
and videos.
Trust me, it's none of your business.
Watch out, buddy.
Really isn't any of your business. It's a public place. I can take pictures. Come on then, off you go.
Detained under
43.
Section 43.
Yeah.
Search under the Terrorism Act. So on PC Lynch based.
From the very first moment, this encounter goes completely off the rails. The female officer wastes no time detaining Matt, basing her actions on the absurd claim that she feels uncomfortable with him filming outside a police station. That statement alone reveals just how poorly trained or poorly intentioned she really is. Discomfort is not, and has never been, a lawful basis for detention under any legislation, let alone the highly specific Section 43 of the Terrorism Act. The situation gets even worse when her colleague attempts to justify the detention by citing the law but fumbles mid-sentence, unable to even recall the section properly until Matt, clearly experienced in dealing with such encounters, steps in and says it for him. Section 43. It's a striking moment that exposes a core issue the very officers enforcing the law don't even understand the powers they're misusing. Section 43 demands reasonable suspicion of terrorism, not vague discomfort. Not the presence of a camera, and certainly not someone quietly standing in a public space exercising their rights.
Keep walking away.
No, I can be here if I want to be. All right, you're going to get yourself in deep trouble, lass.
Okay.
If you touch me, deep trouble, because I'm not doing anything wrong. You've searched me. You're satisfied.
We've told you
I'm
to
stood
stop
here.
filming our vehicles.
I'm allowed to. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that.
So please leave.
You're not allowed to do that. No, I
Why
won't.
are you here then?
Because I feel like it. Catching tyrants like you and him. I will stand here and I will get every single personal car now, whereas I wouldn't have before.
Would you? Okay.
Excuse me. Right, this is just all. Deep trouble. Deep trouble. Deep. Say goodbye to your job.
After the pointless search turns up absolutely nothing, you'd expect the officer to back off and move on. But instead, she doubles down. Matt resumes filming, something he's completely within his legal rights to do. But she responds by shoving him in his camera, crossing the line from law enforcement into personal hostility. At this point, it's obvious she's not upholding the law anymore. She's trying to make him leave. And that's exactly where the real problem lies. When some officers realize they have no legal footing, they don't de-escalate. They escalate. They resort to intimidation and aggression to regain a sense of control they've already lost. What makes this even more frustrating is that she already had her answer. The search revealed nothing. That should have been the end of the encounter. But because Matt stood firm and refused to be bullied, her ego took over. This was never about public safety or national security. It became about power. She couldn't handle being challenged, and when the law no longer worked in her favor, she tried to win through force instead.
My phone off me because I was filming the cars. Well, love, this is what it gets you. Make a note of every single one of them, and that's that stupid cow that works there, but not for much longer. Well done, Ben. You were absolutely right. That was pretty much one of the most shocking ones I've ever come across. Actually assaulted on the public land and had my phone stolen off me. And they've just got themselves in a whole heap of trouble. And yes, I will be pursuing this one, make no mistake about it. A lot of the ones where I get a bit of aggro off them, I tend not to do anything. It takes something special, and this is a special one.
Thankfully, Matt didn't just walk away from this blatant abuse of power. He reached out to HNK, took legal action, and won. securing compensation for the unlawful search and the physical manhandling he endured. It was a clear victory for accountability and a reminder that persistence pays off. In a follow-up, Matt even joked with a viewer who asked how much he'd received, replied with cheeky millions. Of course, that was tongue-in-cheek. The actual payout was likely in the thousands. But while justice was technically served, it exposes an uncomfortable truth. The money didn't come from the officer responsible. It came from public funds, our taxes. So in the end, it wasn't the offending officer who paid the price for their misconduct. It was the public. Ordinary people footed the bill for police wrongdoing, while those directly responsible walked away untouched. That's the real problem. Officers can detain, search, push, and violate rights with almost zero personal accountability, as the system quietly settles the damage behind closed doors. And if you thought Matt's detention was bad, wait until you see what happened to Mr. Auditor. He not only faced similar treatment, but also was his own lawsuit, openly revealing exactly how much compensation he received.
What is?
This is here, come on.
Oh, I didn't know. The gate was open.
Well, follow me then.
Well, I've recorded what I needed anyway, so no problem.
Come on then.
I am doing.
Alright.
You're very impatient.
This is private property and you're recording. These are private vehicles.
They are private vehicles, and I am coming. I walked slower than you.
Faster than that a minute ago.
I know, but my legs are aching now.
Come on.
My legs are aching, just give me a minute. Have a bit of compassion for people who's got bad legs.
Come on. You're so right down now. Come on.
You sound like you're talking to a dog, you know. Come on, come on.
It's trespassing. Can I ask you what you're doing, sir?
You can ask me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. What are you doing? Yes, please. Can I ask you what your name is?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, you're currently trespassing on police property. Can I ask you what your name is?
You can ask me, yeah, I'm not telling you.
Okay, so what's your name?
I'm not telling you.
What's your name and your date of birth?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, why not?
Mr. Auditor was already leaving the car park. Calmly, respectfully, and under the escort of an officer, the situation was resolved. But then, out of nowhere, another officer storms in, completely unaware of what's actually happening, and immediately starts throwing around accusations of trespassing. He demands personal details, as if he's automatically entitled to them. Why? Because his ego jumped in long before his brain did. Let's get one thing straight. Walking into a police car park with an open gate and no clear signage isn't crime. At worst, it's a civil trespass. And since Mr. Auditor was already leaving when asked, without resistance, hostility, or argument, there was absolutely no reason for confrontation. Yet this second officer charges in, barking for a name and date of birth, turning a calm situation into a needless power struggle. It's obvious this wasn't about the law anymore. It was about control. And when Mr. Auditor, staying composed and polite, simply declines to provide his details, the officer doesn't take a step back or reassess. Instead, he doubles down, proving exactly what happens when authority replaces understanding.
I didn't see any signs, and it looks like it was public.
So,
if it's not public, then I'll leave.
excuse me, what?
If it's not public, then I will leave.
It's
Okay.
not public, fella. There's plenty of signs on the gate that says police
The
property.
gate was open. I didn't see the sign. So anyway, like I say, I mean, if it's not public, then I'll leave.
I'm asking you for your details.
I know you're
You're
asking
currently on the property that belongs to police.
I
You
know.
shouldn't be. There's
Yeah.
no access to public here. Can I
Well, the
ask
gate
you?
was open.
Okay, can I ask you why you're here?
You can ask. Yeah, my clients told me not to say anything.
Okay, who's your client?
None of your business.
Okay, so I'm again going to ask you, why are you filming in police property and police personnel and also police vehicles whilst you're here?
And I've answered that already.
Okay, I'm asking you why.
And I've answered that. My client said I'm not to tell anybody.
Okay, just detain this male here for me one second.
No, you're not detaining me.
Yes, you are.
No,
You are.
Exactly
You
where
are.
you
What are you
are.
detaining me
Until I can
for?
ascertain why you're on police
We need to
property
know what
and
your
what your
name is.
details are, you'll say
Well,
exactly
you
where
need
you
to tell
are.
me why you're detaining me. Why are you detaining me? What section?
You're on police property,
What
fella.
section?
You
You can't-
shouldn't be here.
I've
You'll
got
say
to.
exactly where you are?
No, I won't.
Okay,
I won't.
what's your details?
I'm not telling you my
Okay.
details. You're either going to arrest me or you're going to let me go. That's it. That's your
Mr. Auditor does exactly what the law allows. He refuses to provide his details without a legal obligation and holds his ground calmly, drawing a clear line with the officers. Either arrest me or let me go. That's not obstruction. That's knowing your rights. But when the officers moved to detain him, they failed to cite any legal section, which is a fundamental breach of procedure. At that moment, there was no lawful justification presented, only vague references to being on police property. And when they finally do decide to arrest him, only then do they reach for Section 43 of the Terrorism Act, a common fallback when nothing else sticks. But even that feels like a stretch, especially considering Mr. Auditor had already complied by leaving the area when initially asked. The gate was open, signage was unclear, and the officers escalated unnecessarily instead of de-escalating what should have been a non-issue. Following a completely unjustified escalation by an officer who couldn't handle a calm and compliant member of the public choosing not to provide his name, Mr. Auditor walked away with a 6,000-pound settlement. That's not pocket change. It's a direct admission that the force, homicide police no less, knew they were in the wrong and decided to settle the claim in full rather than let it get dragged further into the legal spotlight. The irony is almost too perfect. The officer claimed Mr. Auditor was trespassing even though he was already leaving, and then attempted to fish for personal details without any legal grounds, and now, thanks to a Part 36, offered to settle. The very force that tried to intimidate him had to pay up thousands funded yet again by the public purse. This entire double episode lays bare the uncomfortable truth about a strain of policing that prioritizes ego over law and force over fairness. In Matt's case, we saw a female officer move straight to detainment under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act, not because of any criminal behavior, but simply because she claimed to feel uncomfortable with him filming outside a police station. That isn't a legal ground. It's an emotion. And worse still, once the search was complete and no threat was found, she didn't back off. She pushed him, manhandled his camera, and made it abundantly clear this was personal. That's not how policing should work. It's how power gets abused. Matt's calm resistance throughout is what made this encounter so powerful. He knew the law better than the officers detaining him. He knew that filming from a public space, even outside a police station, is not a crime. And he knew that being uncomfortable is not a lawful basis for a Section 43 stop. His ability to stay composed while being physically mistreated is commendable, and his decision to take legal action paid off. The payout he received, while he jokingly said millions, was likely a few thousand. But as we've said before, that money doesn't come from the officers' pockets. It comes from us, the public. Then we moved to Mr. Auditor's encounter, an interaction that had no reason to escalate, but did simply because an officer's pride was bruised. After mistakenly walking into a police car parked through an open gate with no clear signage, Mr. Auditor was told to leave, and he did. That should have been the end of it. But another officer arrived moments later and instantly shifted the tone, accusing him of trespassing and fishing for his name and date of birth. When Mr. Auditor asserted his right and refused to provide personal details, which he is entirely entitled to do, the officer ramped things up even further. The key moment came when Mr. Auditor made the legal boundary crystal clear. Either arrest me or let me go. This wasn't defiance for defiance's sake. It was a law being exercised. But instead of responding with calm clarity or correct procedure, the officer took the bait and arrested him, not because he had committed an offense, but because the officer couldn't handle a situation where someone knew their rights and wouldn't bend. And though Section 43 of the Terrorism Act was eventually cited, it was done after the arrest, not when Mr. Auditor was being detained. That's not just sloppy, it's unlawful. The result, a 6,000-pound payout to Mr. Auditor handed out by homicide police via a Part 36 offer, a quiet legal mechanism often used to avoid trial. They knew they were on the losing side of the argument, and instead of risking further exposure in court, they paid out hoping it would all go away. But these moments don't just go away. They live on as a warning about how often certain officers lean on authority instead of law, and how many times those mistakes get buried under taxpayer-funded settlements. Let's be clear, these weren't complex, high-stakes incidents. Matt was filming. Mr. Auditor walked into an open car park and left when told to. Yet, both were treated like threats. Both had their rights denied. And both were physically or legally mishandled by officers who either didn't understand the rules or didn't care. It's not a lack of tools or training that caused these failures. It's a lack of discipline, restraint, and accountability. And while payouts like these can feel like justice, they're also a symptom of a broken culture within some ranks of the force. In the end, both Matt and Mr. Auditor walked away with wins. Not just legally, but morally. They stood firm, held the line, and reminded us why it's so important to document and challenge authority when it crosses the line. But they shouldn't have had to. What should have happened was simple. The officer should have de-escalated, listened, and let the law, not their pride, guide their actions. Until that becomes a standard, episodes like this will keep surfacing, and the cost won't just.